Hello everyone. Welcome to the second part of this tutorial series where we will dive into a few of the advanced features available on Xooa's low-code forms. If you have not yet watched part 1, which focuses on more basic features, I'd recommend checking that out first. To reiterate from that video though, forms allow users to utilize a simple UI for data entry to their ledger. It makes having a ledger even simpler by removing the need to worry about the structure of data. On the agenda for this video, we'll be discussing advanced form elements and data form elements. So here you can see that I've already added a demo form to this app on the Xooa platform. Let's run it. Within the form are several advanced form and data elements, including this radio button that allows you to select yes or no, which then influences whether this new address proof file field pops up. With this field, you can easily browse and attach the relevant files to your forms. The file uploaded to a form will then be stored within the Xooa storage service, and a hash of that file will be stored on your ledger. Below this section, we have an element that allows you to add multiple fields, which is useful in various scenarios, like with an attendee list, and I can easily add more rows as needed. Next, we have a field that offers a selection component, and in this case, the options to choose from are pulled from an API. Finally, we have a date and time field, which you can easily fill in. For the rest of this video, I'll be teaching you how to configure each of these elements within your own forms. I'll go to the Design tab for this demo form, and here we can see that our first element is the radio button. To utilize this element, simply drag and drop the radio element onto the form in your desired position. I'll click on the settings button for this element, and here you can see that I've provided a label. In the data section, I've provided the values yes and no that I want displayed as choices, and in the API section, I've input address proof as the property name. Now, if you recall, the address proof field was only shown when the user selected yes on the previous question. So I'll go into settings for this field to see how this was configured. Under the conditional tab, you can see that I've chosen for the element to be displayed only when the user selected yes on the previous question regarding their address. The file component used here is available under the Data tab on the left-hand side right here. Moving on, we offer a data grid element where the user can add multiple fields to the JSON object. To do this, we'll go to the left-hand side and use the data grid element. Once added, you can include any element you want to this grid. So I'll copy the previous design. We'll simply add a text field and label it name, add another text field as age, and finally add one more field as email. Through this simple process, users can generate data grids that allow them to customize these grids to their needs. Next is the select component that displays options pulled from an external API. To build this, add the select component from the left-hand side, and we'll go into the settings for the pre-built element and go to the data section, where you can see the URL that is used as a data source. If I visit this URL, JSON formatted data is shown that we can use and does not require any authentication to view. We can see that under the results section are a number of JSON objects for each of the manufacturers, and the make name is what we will populate under the options field. Under the data path field, I've input results because that's where the data objects are provided. Under the value property field, I've input make name because that's the value we want saved to the ledger. Moreover, under the item template, we have again provided the make name, which shows the specific values that the end users will choose from. The next field displays the date and time element. To use this element, select it from the advanced section on the left-hand side. Under the settings for this element, we can select whether we want just the date input, the time input, or both. Because why not? I'll deselect the time input. If we go to the data section, we can provide a date that will populate the field by default. If I write moment into this field, it will auto-populate the field with the current date and time. Finally, let's look at the hidden field at the bottom of this form, which shows a hidden element and is available under the data section. The hidden element allows us to add a value to the form that will not be visible to the end user. I'll now show you how I've configured it for this form. Under the settings, I'll select the data field to show this calculated values section. Under this section, you can see that I've selected this value as open. And under the API tab, I've set the property name as status. All of this means that when the form is submitted, the status will automatically be set to open. With all of that said, in the next video, I'll be covering how to use the forms with Xooa's custom smart contracts. Until then, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.